Hi, I'm James, the author of two book series, Those-80s Cars and American Automotive Design Trends. In this car review, I look at the 1980 Lincoln Versailles. The Lincoln Versailles was produced for one generation only, from 1977 through 1980. The car was introduced in April 1977, giving this generation a 3.5-year span. A total of 50,156 units were produced, with 1980 being the lowest volume year at 4,784 cars. This was due to a couple of factors: a second energy crisis in the United States, and the introduction of the downsized Continental Town cars and Mark VIs that were bigger and roomier compared to the Versailles, had better gas mileage, and cost less for the respective base models. The Versailles could be considered a personal luxury car for the period due to its size, single body style, and target market. Ultimately, the Versailles was replaced in 1982 by the bustle-back Continental. Competing with the Cadillac Seville, there was only one trim level for the Lincoln Versailles, and it was loaded. Like the smaller Cadillac, it was the most expensive base entry model, as buyers were looking for European-sized cars that were fully equipped. The 77 to 78 Versailles profile looked too much like the Granada Monarch on which they were based. Lincoln would fix this later by adopting a fix by ASC that made the C-pillar more upright and formal. While the car was loaded, there were still options like a power moonroof, power locks, leather seats, rear defroster, and dual-shade paint. As you can see here, pricing for the period was expensive, ranging from a base MSRP of $11,500 in 1977 to $14,674 in 1980. But the Versailles came loaded with such features as power windows and antenna, illuminated entry, dual illuminated vanity mirrors, automatic temperature air conditioning, and speed control. Tilt steering cost a modest $81, while a power moonroof was pricey at $1,128. Exterior dimensions for the period were considered compact but large by today's standards. Wheelbase is 109.9 inches with an overall length of 201 inches. Width is 74.5 inches and height is 54.1 inches. In 1980, the car weighed in at 3,848 pounds. First-year buyers in 1977 received the larger 351 cubic inch engine. High-altitude buyers got the 302. There was a single powertrain combination for 78 through 80. Power supplied then by a 302 5-liter engine mated to Ford's 3-speed select shift transmission, producing 132 horsepower with a torque rating of 237. A fairly rare feature for the period was the 4-wheel disc brakes found and coveted on the Versailles. Few cars at any price offer this feature, and it was standard on the Versailles. The Versailles front end did not change over its production run. It has a large formal grille with a red reflective ornament and an additional stand-up hood ornament in the shape of the Lincoln Star. To save weight, the Versailles hood is made of aluminum. Flanked on either side of the grille are the quad rectangular headlamps. Notable here is the fact that Versailles pioneered halogen headlamps in the United States. Additionally, the Versailles was the first mass-produced American car with base coat clear coat paint, giving the car a lustrous and wet look. The 77 and 78 Versailles resembled the Granada Monarch too closely in its profile. Lincoln addressed this for 1979 by making the C-pillar more upright and formal. This change made the rear door opening wider at the top, which helps entry and exit. All years have a coach lamp in the B-pillar post. The 1979 refresh integrated the coach lamp by housing it in a stainless steel band that wrapped over the roof. Thick bodyside moldings along the upper body were standard, as were deep dish wheels. Wire wheel covers were optional and popular, and all Versailles had the signature look of the Lincoln Mark series with the wheel hump and the trunk lid. Trunk space is modest, measuring 14.6 cubic feet of space. It is fully lined with 18-ounce carpeting, including the inside trunk lid, which uses 14-ounce carpeting. The mini spare and jack are located in the passenger side wheel well and is covered. The wheel hump in the trunk lid hinders loading and unloading of items, and many heads are hit against it. The Versailles dash also resembles the Granada Monarchs. Though there are differences, the distinctions are minor and the casual observer would be hard-pressed to notice the changes. The differences include the use of high-gloss, crotch-cut American walnut vinyl appliques, a bevel-cut bezel over the speedometer, and a larger trim panel covering the air vents and clock on the passenger side. Another distinction was the use of hand-stitched leather to cover the dash pad and a leather steering wheel cover. Lincoln endeavored to make the Versailles special through the use of special appointments throughout, and the leather dash pad is one example. Gauges were limited to the speedometer and fuel level indicator. Changes over the year were minor. The conventional radio knobs were replaced in 1979 by new and optional all-button electronic radio with cassette and 8-track as options for audiophiles. In 1980, the rotary digital Cartier clock used in the past 3 years was replaced with an electronic day-date elapsed timepiece. Also in 1980, the speedometer was changed to include both miles per hour and kilometer per hour registers. From 1977 through 1979, a flight bench seat covered in luxury cloth with four-way power control was standard. A leather bucket seat with dual recliners and a center console was optional. The console may be optionally equipped with a floor shift for the transmission, and the center console armrest pad was covered in leather. In 1980, the standard interior was upgraded. Luxury cloth twin comfort lounge seats with dual recliners and a six-way power driver's seat became standard. Let's take a moment here to look at this picture. Here is a picture showing the optional leather bucket seat interior with the center console and recliners. Note the floor shift transmission, additional warning lights in the console, thickly padded seats, map pockets, and the many assist straps throughout the car. Interior door panels did not change over the production run. They were covered in cloth or vinyl depending on the seat coverings. Each door had wood-tone trim and pull straps. Continuing on its theme of rich material appointments, the 77 through 79 armrests are also covered in leather regardless of the seat material chosen. 80 Versailles door armrests are covered in vinyl. Two driver door control panels are shown here with the manual remote mirror joystick and power windows. The top picture also shows the power door lock switch. And also shown here is a rear door armrest with covered ashtray. The rear compartment is well appointed, but not comfortable for long trips. The legroom is short and the seat bottom is smaller than it should be. Rear seat passengers have many assist straps overhead, on the seat back, and on the door panel. Additionally, they have map pockets on the front seat backs to store papers, books, or perhaps today's iPads and tablets. With the new seat pillar of 1979, rear seat reading lamps were added. Lincoln introduced the Versailles in a special ceremonial promotion atop the World Trade Center as shown in this ad. The car, like its name implies, is all about luxury, fully loaded with features, luxurious materials, and isolation. And it wasn't just appointments that made the Versailles. Engineering excellence was equally obtained through pioneering safety using halogen headlamps, protecting the body with clear coat paint, hand matching the engine to the transmission, setting critical balance tolerances for the drive shaft, rear axle, brake, and tires, refining the suspension with double insulated shocks, low friction ball joints, and double U-joint couplings, and testing each Versailles through 50-wire connections and testing vibrations and harshness on a road simulator. Though a production run of 50,000 cars over 3.5 years may seem small, it was profitable for Ford. Sales were hampered by the close familial resemblance to the Granada Monarch. Cadillac did a superior job, on the other hand, of disguising the Seville's origin of the Chevy Nova. Despite excellent engineering and quality control, few Versailles survive today. Most, when found, are cannibalized for the 9-inch rear end and four-wheel disc brake setups, which can almost be directly bolted on to early Mustangs to give them a modern ride. For more information about American cars of the 80s and popular American automotive design trends such as the personal luxury cars and couture cars, visit www.those80s-cars.com.